Hello, and welcome to Life of a Boss, the podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, public speaker, and mentor, Jason Hardin. This podcast is all about helping audiences create and reach their own definition of success through positive thinking, perseverance, and personal development. Having survived extreme obstacles from an early age, such as cancer, poverty, abuse, family dysfunction, and even homelessness, Jason has learned how to master the art of resilience and defy all odds to become the boss he is today. So, get ready for some serious game and remember to keep an open mind. Now, without further delay, here is your host, Jason Hardin.
Well, thank you very much, and hello. I am excited to be here. It is another beautiful day at the Life of a Boss Studios, and I am grateful to be here because when I'm here, that means, first of all, I'm alive. Second of all, I'm free. Is there any two better things that you want to be right now? Alive and free, and I'm both. So I'm very blessed, very excited, and happy to be here. Today is a great episode because we will be talking about owning your imperfections. That's right, owning your imperfections. And what that really is eliminating insecurities. I want to help my listeners, my audience, my family, my friends, my people eliminate all insecurities. Why? Because it's hard to be a boss and be insecure. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to lead. It's hard to accomplish things. It's hard to get things done. It's hard to see dreams coming true and fantasies manifesting if you're unconfident. If you're insecure, if your imperfections own you. So we're going to try to eliminate those imperfections. And where do we start? To me, I feel like insecurities usually have something to do with our fears. So I would suggest starting with identifying and addressing what your fears are. Growing up, my insecurities came from, a lot of different areas. I was poor growing up, so we didn't have money. I didn't have, the education. I didn't have, educated parents who were professionals and had great careers. I grew up in a crack house at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of things that kept me unconfident because of fear. I was afraid of what people would think if they saw my home life. I was afraid of what people would think of me or what they already thought of me because I was broke. I didn't have the tightest shoes. I didn't have the best gear. I didn't have the cleanest haircut all the time. There was so many things that kept me unconfident and insecure, and it was all stemming from fear. It was stemming from me not really being able to embrace who I was because I was so scared of what other people thought of me, and that gave me a lot of insecurity. So I had to start identifying it and where those fears were coming from and how to address them and how to tackle them and own them. And to be honest, it didn't come until a lot later on in life where I released an issue of my magazine. And in that first issue of my magazine, I talked about being diagnosed with cancer at 6 months old. And being diagnosed with cancer, I had a tumor, behind my right eye. And it left a scar that I still, carry to this day. And that scar gave me a lot of insecurities. And it made me unconfident. And that didn't really help. It didn't help throughout my life. It made me shy. It made me not want to be outspoken. It made me not want to assert myself or sometimes even defend myself, So I had to tackle that. And the way I did it was, at first, I never talked about anything. My friends, family, and whatever, I never talked about being diagnosed with cancer, and being even a cancer survivor. Never really brought that up and wasn't supposed to live past 3 years old. Doctors told my parents he wouldn't survive past 3. So there was a lot of things I never spoke of because I wasn't confident about it. I didn't see any strength in that. I was ashamed. There was a lot of shame going on, so I was ashamed of all the things that I was going through at home and things like that. So I never really spoke on it. So I never really tapped into the power of my story, And then when I released the first issue of my magazine, in one of the articles, I think I wrote an article called "Staying Fit the Hard Way," and it was about health. But what it did was address my health issues. For the first time, I went public about being a cancer survivor. Of esthesioneuroblastoma. So it was like of coming out of all the fear and all the mask, you know what I'm saying? All the stuff that I was trying to cover my fears with, it was freeing myself of that. And then after that, it wasn't the best part of that experience was that expressing myself, that finally, letting it out there, it allowed other people to connect with me. It allowed me to connect with other people. I found power in my own vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? I found power in what I thought was my greatest weakness. And at that moment, it no longer owned me. My imperfections, my raggedy childhood, all the things I've experienced that were less than ideal became my virtues, became the foundation of everything that I was able to offer someone else. And owning these imperfections allowed me to be the person I am now. I was in a prison. How many of you feel like you're in a prison of the things that you've been through? A prison of your body that might be out of shape or might be, you might be missing a limb. You know what I'm saying? And they tell me there once was a man who was sad because he had no shoes until he met a man that had no feet. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of stuck with me when I heard that. I believe I heard that on the Cosby Show when I was young. And Heathcliff Huxtable said that. And it was powerful because it allowed me to appreciate what I did have. The first way to really own your imperfections is you got to appreciate you. You got to appreciate what you do have. You have to love you. It all stems from self-love. We got a future episode on self-love just by itself because I can make series on the topic of self-love. You know what I'm saying? I can make episodes, documentaries, and movies about the importance and the power of loving yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do that to overcome your imperfections. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you have to own them. Because if you don't own the things that make you scared, if you don't own the things that make you unconfident, if you don't own the things that'll help you live a healthier and more fulfilling life, then you got to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? You got to eliminate those insecurities. And I got a couple of hints and helpful tips to leave you with, because I don't just want to tell you to do it. I want to tell you how. I want to help some of you folks learn how to do it, because it's easier said than done. You know what I'm saying? It's easier said than done. And I wrote down some tips. I'm going to read them for you. And I think the first thing you have to do is acknowledge what you can change and what you can't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things we can change. A lot of things that we think we don't have power over, but we can actually change. You know what I'm saying? If it's your weight. You know what I'm saying? If you're not healthy enough, if you look in the mirror and you see something wrong and it's something that you can tackle, you know what I'm saying? If you can treat your body better, and get better results, then do that. You know what I'm saying? So it starts with changing the things you can change. And the things you can't change, you have to own it. You know what I'm saying? The things you can't change, you have to acknowledge it and then move on. You know what I'm saying? You really have to get over yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you're focusing on the one thing you can't change and ignoring the 100 gifts you have a problem. You know what I'm saying? And you want to eliminate that problem. Get out of your own way. And that's the whole thing an insecurity will do. It will have you in your own way. Absolutely. So that's my final tip. You know what I'm saying? I can go through a lot more, but that's our time. But basically, that's it, man. Own your imperfections by identifying your fears and addressing them, hitting them head on. And then change the things you can and forget about the things you can't. Like I said, focus on all your strengths, and your weaknesses won't be what you define yourself by. You know what I'm saying? You define yourself by your strengths. Anyway, that's my time for today. I hope I helped somebody. Man, check us out, lifeofaboss.net. Like, subscribe, share. Let us know what you think. Give me some questions if you got them, and I'd love to answer them. Love y'all. Life of a Boss. Peace.
Did anything stand out to you in today's show? If so, let us know. Your questions, comments, and concerns are important to Jason, as he is determined to always deliver to you only the most impactful information and content. Until next time, please subscribe, like, comment, share, and leave a review whenever possible. You may visit lifeofaboss.net for more episodes and great resources to help you become the absolute boss that you were meant to be. You can also follow Jason on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Hardin. Thank you. And to never forget that success is a lifestyle.